as far as the UNO is concerned, developing nations must give importance to education. And education is very prime goal of any developing nation, because development has that basis. And what is the basis? The learning, or you can say educating uh, the mass is a very important task any developing country aimed at. Right. So first of all, thank you, NLD, National Nucleus of Learning and Development. And it's a national webinar, so all of the participants from all over India, I welcome you all. And ma'am, please start my presentation so that I can talk on my topic, and you have also an opportunity to discuss the question and answer with me.
Yes, I'm sharing the PPT, sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so this is the title, and the title is drafted by both NLD as well as me. And there are many, you can say, words which are very important, which are significant here. We are talking about empowering and empowerment. We will discuss also about how education and educators can bring change, drastic change in India, in the nation. And as far as the vision of Viksit Bharat in 2047 is concerned, we must play our pivotal role in shaping the future of India. And this is our national aim. That is why we are all, you can say, have to be we all just must play our crucial role during this age. And we are all contributors. We all know that teachers are the best contributors in the world, and only teachers can change the world. So teacher has a prime responsibility of bringing some drastic change, of bringing something which is miraculous, something which is magnetic. And that is why it is our dharma, or it is our prime duty, right, to be prepared for this new Bharat, new India, Viksit Bharat. Next one. Yeah. Basically, it was subtitled. This presentation is subtitled as Desh at 2047. Because when I'm talking about empowering India through decolonization, so I must use the title, which is, you can say, which is Indian. And that's why I have used the title Desh, right? Because Desh is a very regional, or you can say national kind of word. And that's why the term Desh has a, you can say, a very suggestive, you can say, aroma about it. This presentation, I will keep an approach. It is my approach, right, which centers on decolonizing Indian academia, and how we should, you can say, how we should remove some imprints which are basically colonial imprints, right, in our education system, and how we can be equal participants in this mission, in this mobilizing mission of Viksit Bharat, right? How can we should dream about, you can say, Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? But we must materialize it. So dreaming is okay, right? Dreaming Atmanirbhar Bharat, or you can say an India, a nation, which is, you can say, which has its own skills and skillful youth, and we can train them. Okay, we can have their, you can say, dividend. That is okay, but we have to materialize this dream. Vision is very important, but materializing a vision is more important and more significant. And that's why why should we use indigenous ideas? Why should we use our national, you can say, scriptures? Why should we use our own culture or cultural dictums, right, to empower India? That is a presentation is about, and let us see what we will discuss. Next, ma'am. So, in this presentation, I advocate for re-evaluating the syllabus. That's very important thing, right? As far as NEP, National Education Policy 2020 is concerned, we have to re-evaluate our syllabus. We have to think about it from Indian point of view. I am, you can say, teacher of English, and from the very beginning of my study, I was taught Shakespeare, Milton, Dante, and all, right? I was told about Aristotle. I was taught about Dryden. I was taught about Milton. I was taught about John Donne, or you can say Shelley, right? And these Western writers, I have to rethink about them. Do they make some change in my life? Are they appropriate for our national development schemes? Are they useful? That's the main question. And can their cultural, you can say their cultural representations or reflections, are they matching with our culture? So why should I study Shakespeare? That's my basic question. Why should I study Milton? That's my basic question. Because the age in which Milton lived, or the culture had he shared, was a bit different from mine. Shakespeare's time was different from my time. Shakespeare's culture is not my culture. So should I accept Shakespeare or embrace Shakespeare blindly? Should I just entertain myself by reading tragedies of Shakespeare, or tragedies, you can say tragedies of, or heroic tragedies, let me specify it, of that? So what should I do? So shall we re-examine our syllabus, reread our syllabus? Is it purposeful to our students? Is it useful to the, you can say, development schemes of India? Or is it aligned with their skill development? That we have to think about. Then we have to emphasize on the Indian national struggle, in Indian nationalistic writers. Why? Because these writers had founded the basic of what India is. They have founded the dream of India. And India, for them, was free India. Free not only from the colonizers, not only from the colonial imprints, but also from the socio-cultural, ritualistic limitations and those superstitions which harm or which prevent the development of a nation. And when we think, when we see nationalistic writers, we also sometimes fall in the trap of some, you can say, some ideology. No, it is an umbrella term. So the word nationalistic sounds a holistic development of a human being. And that's why should we just blindly follow the Western canon, right, in education? As far as education, the you can say faculty of education is concerned, why should we follow their theories? Why shouldn't we have our own? As far as history is concerned, why should we read their histories? Right? You can learn, you can read, they can be their reference books, right? But why don't we think or rethink or re-examine our history and point out which were weaknesses earlier in the past, and try to modify, try to rectify that historical background or that historical, you can say, weaknesses, drawbacks. So why don't we think about our philosophy? Why should we start from Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and all? Why don't we why don't we think about Indian aesthetics? Why don't we think about Bharata Muni, Natya Shastra, Charak, and all? So emphasizing Indian, Bharatiya, that's very important. What happens today, as far as, because I am a teacher of English literature, so that I will point out the examples of English literature only. I will try to spread that, you can say, or expand that horizon. But basically, we have 80% of works which are from abroad. We have 80% of work, and the writers, they are either British or American, or you can say mixture of British, American, South African and all, right? What about Indian writers? Why don't we think about Indian writers? Why don't we have 50-50? Why don't we have 80-20? Why don't we, if we want to make Atmanirbhar Bharat, if we want to make, you can say India, Bharat, or you can say Viksit Bharat, why don't we have 80% of syllabus which is Indian, basically Indian? Because our students will learn from the text, right? And they can acquire, or they can, you can say, they can learn, you can say, more from this text, because they know the culture. They know what the Jamindari system was. They know how we were colonized. So these are the things they know historically. So which are our fairs, which are our festivals. So the Indian atmosphere or Indian environment presented in the text written by the Indian writers. So why don't we think about them? Why don't we have majority of texts from India? So this is my take. We can discuss if someone has a question, right? In future or in this session only. So why don't we extend Indian literature globally? Why don't we extend Indian knowledge system globally? Why don't we write something on Indian history, and why don't we publish it globally and say that, okay, this was my history? So the concept of my, or you can say the aroma, or you can say the smell of my, or that attachment, that association with the nation must be built up. If we build up a kind of association with our country, its rich culture, its rich literature, its popular authors or famous works, then we can have, you can say, Viksit Bharat in 2047. Next one. So first task, according to me, or in my opinion, is to decolonize Indian literature. Number one, even Indian literature is not, you can say, it is not so much associated with, or you can say it is not removed from the imprints or colonial imprints. So we have to decolonize the material which is there, or the text and context which is there in Indian literature. So we have to revise syllabus, we have to re-examine syllabus, we must change our curricula, and we must have critical approach, and we must invent some Indian methods and Indian approaches to discuss or to describe about our text. Why don't we see, for example, we are studying a text from Marxist point of view. We are studying, and Marxist point of view, I agree with it. Okay, someone can study text by any writer. Specifically, you can say Shashi Deshpande, or you can say Vikram Seth, or you can say any writer, right? And you can talk about Shashi Deshpande from the feminist point of view. Okay, that's okay. But do you think that the feminist point of view, or you can say Western feminist point of view, is aligned with, or is it matching with Indian texts? Because in India, India has its own feminism. So it is not associated, it can have some, you can say some similarities, but it is not totally associated with the Western brand of, or Western, you can say theory of feminism. So Western feminism was mostly different from Indian feminism. But we try to interpret or examine the text from Simone de Beauvoir's point of view, or from, you can say, Kate Millet's point of view. And Kate Millet or Simone de Beauvoir, they lived in a different culture, while we live in a different culture. So from that point of view, we have to change our point of view. We have to change our approach. We have to discover, or invent, or you can say theorize our own approach. Even you can extend this thought if someone, you can say, if someone approaches, or if someone examines Shakespeare's tragedy from the point of view of Manu's Dharma Shastra, that can be a different perspective. That can be a unique perspective to think a Western text from the Indian point of view. That will not only glorify our culture in the world, but that will also enhance, or that will also extend our theory, right? And that is very important now. What we have missed so far, what we are doing, we are taking a text from India, or taking a text from the West, and we are analyzing, or we are, you can say, making an analysis of that from the point of view of some Western theory. And our theory are also so much attached, or so much associated with some Western philosophy or Western theory. So why don't we rethink about our own theory? Why don't we reinvent our theories? Why don't we think about our theorists? Why don't if we, you can say, if we dig deep, then we will have some our own theorists, and we can change our approach. And that's why this movement of decolonizing Indian mindset, that's very important. Whenever we follow others, or whenever we follow, let me extend this word, blindly to others, right? Then it will not make us unique. It will not make us original, right? Rather, we will go and, you can say, analyze the text, or make an article, or you can say prepare a thesis or dissertation about a topic, or a writer, or a work. That is okay, but what is unique, or what is useful about it? What is, you can say, why don't we put some significance, or why don't we make it some, you can say, make it so influential that the Western readers or Western writers can take interest in it? So we have to arouse the interest of the Western people. Miss, and our Indian Critical Academy, or our Indian Critical Forum must have, you can say, this kind of, you can say, change in their drastic change in their approach, and that approach can make us globally renowned, globally acknowledged, or globally identified. Okay, next one. So encourage Indian theories. What I'm extending it. One has to encourage Indian theories. One has to dig deep into India. Who were Indian theories? Theorists. who miss how can we apply these theories to Western texts or Indian texts, right? Then invent new approaches. We are not inventors. I'm very sorry to submit it. We miss in as far as discovery, invention, in a context of pattern is concerned, we are lethargic about it, and that's why we have to invent some new theories, new strategies to analyze a particular text. As far as literature is concerned, we have to find out some new approaches, and these approaches must be Indian. So why don't we invent some approach which are Indian to apply to Indian texts, right? Why don't we borrow? See, why do we borrow some approaches from the West and apply to the Indian text, and that does not make a sense, right? So third one is very important: apply Indian theories to the global world. Why don't we apply? See, someone has recently I have come to know that someone has applied a theory, or you can say the ideas of Manu in Dharma Shastra to the kings of Shakespeare. So he or she, I don't know the name, he or she has analyzed Shakespearean tragedies, particularly, specifically the kings of Shakespearean tragedies, right? With the norms provided by Manu in Dharma Shastra. So why don't we analyze some texts from Indian point of view? Why don't we apply, you can say, rasa theory, right, to the Western text? That will not only you can say extend our knowledge about some Western texts, but that will also globalize our theories to the world and let the world know that we are also not, you can say, lagging behind in theories. So we must have we have some great theories, but we are not we regularly hesitate to apply them, associate them, or examine the text from the point of view of these Indian theories. So let us start them. So that will make India visible to the world as far as academia is concerned. Sometimes what happens, we try to analyze, we analyze the text and we take the degree and all, we do PhDs and you can say MPhils and all, right? Also pursue some research. Okay, that's the requirement, right? As far as academic world is concerned. But we have to promote comparative criticism. If we compare some theory with the Indian theory, if we compare some text with the Indian theory, or if we compare two texts, India and from the West, we will make India visible in the academia of the world. So we have to enter into that Western canon, because Western canon is always colonized canon. It is always, you can say, controlled by some superpowers. As far as India is concerned, India is a developing country. Let us be very frank, let us be very true about it, that we are a developing country. And the academia is controlled. I'm talking not from the national point of view, I'm talking from the global point of view. So the academia is controlled by the forces, and these forces are from the Western world or from the developed countries. So all the developed countries are controlling or maintaining, or you can say have some kind of base and superstructure type of thing, right? They had their implicit or explicit control over all this academia. But if you want to be visible, if you want to be, you can say, convincing in this academic world, this is controlled, that is controlled by the West or some rich developed countries. We have to promote comparative criticism. We have to compare texts, and we must make these texts visible, right? Indian texts visible to the world. If we make Indian, you can say, regional texts visible in the world, we automatically, consequently, make India visible to the world. Next one. So we have to extend the horizons of literary texts. We have to translate texts from regional languages to English, because you know all that English is a global language, and all the communication, all the conversation, all that nowadays we are in the age of artificial intelligence, and the world is moving towards a world which is mechanized world. Even that generative AI models and productive AI models, now they are working on emotive, you can say, AI models. And these emotive AI models will replace one day. I have read one of the, we can say, the text which is very recent and very popular, Nexus, if you have read it, right? That has the power to replace human being, and we will be we will be mechanized, and we are now mechanized daily, right? We have to study AI and all the tools and all that. Even this presentation is also made by Gamma, right? It is made with the help of Gamma. It's an AI website, right? So we have to produce global audience. We have to promote writers who are Indian. We have to promote Indians who are writing about our myths, legends, scriptures, our unique things. Our Miss India is an abode of storytelling. We have lots of stories. We miss in our villages, in our rural areas, there are lots of narratives which are unknown to the world. And thank God, and I think we are in an age of transformation now. We have all the ability, we have all the power now. We can tell our story to the world through YouTube. So we have now we have acquired power. As far as digitalization is concerned, is as far as internet and technology is concerned, we have now entered, even India too. Here we are not, we can say, backward. India has entered into the world of technology, and this technology, technological development provides ample opportunities to Indians, and that's why we can globalize our culture. We can promote our writers. The writer who is unknown to the world, the writer who is unknown to the, you can say, to the state, a writer who is, you can say, living at the corner of the world, who is living at a remote tribal place, you can promote him. You can make him visible. You can make his work evident. You can make his work globalized. You can make him. It's a moment, in a moment of, you can say, in a friction of moment, you can popularize him, broadly, gigantically in the world, and you can make his work globalized. Everyone can talk, everyone can comment on that work. So we have to extend this. We have to find out, we have to search, we have to research, right? Which are the texts which are unknown to the world, right? And we have to translate the text. We have to, you can say, narrate the text into English, the language to which the world can listen. So we, thanks to the colonization too. So due to colonization, we have also power of English, right? So colonization was not utterly bad. Colonization was not, you can say, the curse on India. Rather, now it is, you can say, blessing to us that we all are well in English, right? And English now has become a weapon now for Indians, or a tool for Indians to manage, to market, to advertise, to narrate India in the world, globalize India in the world. Next, ma'am. So these are 5 steps. Use digital platforms, use social media, use Twitter, use all the social media, you can say, platforms you like, and make a blog, you can say make a video, narrate the story, do it right now, and you can market India. You can sell India. We can sell India, we can market India, we can advertise India, we can narrate India, we common citizens, we teachers have now power to, you can say, globalize my country, globalize my nation, right? So we have now digital power with this. So we see what this Nucleus learning and development is doing. They are globalizing knowledge, right? So we have also the power to globalize our world. Global, which world? Our regional world. Which world? Our rural skills. Which world? Our rural stories. So we can globalize it, use digital platforms. Then research on epics. Our epics are great treasure, right? Yet not so much, you can say, ample research has been done on Mahabharata and Ramayana. You can revive, you can re-examine, you can re-narrate, you can make your story, right? Even many films are based on Ramayana and Mahabharata, right? You have to just collaborate, just associate these epics, right? And you have to globalize them. So you can apply in the same way you can apply Vedas, right? You can see now we have that power. Once upon a time we have limited sources. Once upon a time we cannot talk to the world. Now you have a chance. Now you have a big opportunity. You must talk to the world. You must narrate your India to the world. You must narrate your Indian food items to the world. You must narrate your history. See, let me talk to the teachers of history. Your region or your area has its own history. Please amplify it. Please globalize it. Please narrate it. Even let me talk to the, you can say, teachers of regional languages. Your regional languages has that aroma. You can say it has its own aroma. It has its proverbs. It has its own, you can say, system of learning. It has its own knowledge system. See, the Indian knowledge system is an umbrella term, while regional knowledge system is one part of it. So you can say you can enhance that regional system. You can develop, you can narrate, you can tell a story about it, and you can globalize it. So you will have that for example, ancient herbs, for example, tribal herbs. Please tell me the topic. You have all, right? And we have now an opportunity to, you can say, apply. We have chance or opportunity to, you can say, develop this, you can say, these small narratives and make it global, right? Thank you, ma'am. Next. We see, so far, we, due to colonization and earlier, I don't want to go to past, but we were marginalized not only from our, you can say, socio-cultural systems, but also from, you can say, some rulers, some, you can say, colonizers. But now we have a space, and we can pick up some folk tales. We can pick up some myths. We can pick up some marginalized letters so far not talked about. They were not discussed about. They were not, you can say, they were not mentioned in any text, any historical text, any cultural text, any English text, any regional language text. So you have to pick up that marginal writers and you have to glorify. You have to globalize them, right? So you have that opportunity to pick up the text from marginalized writers. You can talk about marginalized topics. You can talk about the texts which are so far not considered significant. You can make them significant, right? So you can add that significance to this text. You can make them significant. That's the main, you can say, that's a prime duty, or you can say that prime opportunity to all the tutors, all the teachers, right? So you can have, you can say, you can have some regional writers, and you can make them, right, somewhat popular through your work. So you must search and research and popularize them. Next one, right? So you must promote translation. Translation is very important, and nowadays English is must. English is a necessary language one should acquire, right? So it's our skill, and you should one must not, you can say, one must not hesitate to learn English. So even we can learn Spanish, even we can learn French, right? We can acquire multiple languages, and we must promote translation. Even you can miss, for example, a person or a teacher from Bengal, he can or she can learn Hindi, and he can translate that work into Hindi, and that will also promote, you can say, the work, or you can say, make it popular, right? Because I'm Gujarati, I Miss gave this example, provided this example, translate Gujarati text, right, into English or into Hindi or into Bengali or Miss inter-regional, right? So let the work become national. Even we have, you can say, in India, India is a miraculous country, a magical country, and it's a nation where we have so many dialects, and these dialects, it means some literature, some, you can say, formulas, some ideas, these are written in some dialects. You can use these dialects, or you can say use this text written in dialects, and you can translate it in a local language, right? So from a particular area, for example, if, I am in Mehsana, Gujarat, or I am in, you can say, in South Gujarat, I can pick up a tribal dialect, and I can pick up a text from tribal area, which is written in tribal dialect, right? So I will translate it in Gujarati, then someone will translate it in Hindi, then someone will translate it in Bengali. So a we have a treasure of, you can say, such texts, such narratives, such ideas, right? So we can excavate some works and make it popular, not only in India. I wish they can be internationalized. Next one. So we must let me repeat. We must highlight Indian authors and Indian value system. If you want to make India great, if you want to make India, you can say, popular, global, and if you want to make India developed, right, in a true sense, as far as academia is concerned, as far as education system is concerned, as far as Indian education system is concerned, value system is concerned, because we are the agents of change. We are transformers, right? We can transform our youth, and that's why we must know Indian sages, saints. We can narrate that stories, tales into English or into Hindi. If someone is from Bengali, he can translate into Hindi. If someone is from Chennai, right, he can translate it into from some remote area of the South India, right? Translate the stories from saint, or from a saint, from a wise man from Chennai, right? Right, into English, and she or he can share that cultural text. It's right. So we have Kalida. These are some examples, right? But you can extend these examples. You can extend these. You can say writers, their stories, right, from the, you can say, local to the global. So you have to work from the micro to the macro. You have to work inter we must have some interstate collaboration, association. I welcome this if someone would like to work with me, right, from Maharashtra, from, you can say, Punjab, or from Chennai, or from somewhere. I can let us have some associative, a kind of association. Let us have some collaborations in research. We must have some collaborative work. right? So that I can learn your culture, you can learn my culture, and we both can teach, or we both can narrate a particular narrative to the globe, and let us make our this nation proud. Next one. Yeah, thank you. This is me, Dr. Jashwant Rathore. You can contact me on 9586946102, and these are my work. You can you can go to or you can visit these links, right, to find me out. And thank you so much. I would like to reply, and I would also like to learn from you some questions, some queries. Let us solve it together. Let us have some collaborative kind of work. Yeah, ma'am. I think Darini Gohil has raised a hand. Yeah, madam, you can ask me question directly.
Participants, if anybody have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask to sure, or you can write in chat box.